Hey, sis.
Hey, sis. What are those pretty flowers behind you?
Oh, those are from my Mother's Day brunch yesterday that I hosted.
That was so sweet of
And
you.
I know. And I had Lance put them together because, last minute lady over here goes to Trader Joe's at 9:00 in the morning on Sunday. And
Oh my God.
came home and I was like, hey, hon, you do this better than I do. So,
Why'd you get started so late?
well, it didn't seem late to me.
Right. It's early for you, late for everybody else.
Yeah. And then we made that Bobby Flay's frittata that we've made before that's got the sausage and the roasted tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
And then you put ricotta on top of it. It was really good. And then that fruit salad, Courtney.
Oh, my strawberry orange fruit salad.
Loved it.
So good, right?
Loved it. I made the Presbyterian sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
Which, are the Hawaiian buns with the ham and the Swiss. And then you pour melted butter, grated onion, and Worcestershire all over them. And then you bake them. So how bad can that be?
So good.
It was so good.
Well, that's fun. That's good. Well, you had your food was definitely better than our food, but it was still a really fun Mother's Day, like one of the best I've ever had. It was so
good.
fun. We went on a boat, the four of us, and it was incredible.
Did you bring your flippy floppies?
I did not bring flippy floppies. We got dressed up, girl. We got dressed up for this brunch out on the marina.
I love that.
And it was so fun to just be cruising around the marina on a beautiful sunny Sunday. But it was cold, actually. It was cold.
Oh, was it? I was kind of afraid of that.
Yeah. The food on this boat, like a brunch on a boat, not so good, but that's okay. I'm not going to fault my husband for that because
No, he didn't know.
The whole thing was really fun.
Yeah. That sounds like fun.
It was great. And then, so then we went for sushi last night and it was just
nice.
Perfect. Yes.
Sounds like a wonderful day. Yeah. We had our big, huge brunch and then we all needed naps, including the children. They were, having system shutdown. So
yeah, it's always nice on a Mother's Day to take a nap. Oh, well, that sounds like fun. We made it through the biggest holiday of the year. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, good.
I'm drinking what I think should be our summer signature cocktail.
Okay.
It is called the Lone Ranger.
Oh, okay.
And it is tequila, sparkling rosé, lemon juice, and a little bit of simple syrup. I know you scoff right now. It is so
too much sugar for me. Yeah.
But it's not sweet.
Simple syrup.
But it's a little bit. It's because everything else is so tart.
Yeah. I don't know about rosé and tequila combined. I know, girl. For me, though, I have to be very clean with my alcohol. I can't mix wine with something else. And I don't really drink much wine anymore. Doesn't sit with me very well. So
I'm
getting old. I'm telling you, I'm getting so old. I'm getting old and finicky. And it's just, I got to be very strategic when I drink and it's got to be very pure, but I'll give it a sip. But I can guarantee it's not going to be my new summer go-to.
Well, it is already mine.
I'll stick to the ranch water.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But Lance made a bunch yesterday and everybody loved them.
Oh, that's nice.
It sounds really weird together, but
yeah, it does.
It's good. I'm going to put it up on the website.
Okay, you do that. So these sisters that we're having on today, Amanda and Alison from Sis Tell Podcast. They're amazing and fellow Jewish mommies like myself. And they inspired me I don't do Shabbat a ton, but I do love to do it when I do it. We talk about that on the podcast and their special Shabbat dinners growing up and stuff. And so I did make Shabbat dinner the other night for the girls and they had friends over. And so we sat out. It was our first backyard of the season because it's been so cold here and finally it was nice, so we sat outside on our patio and had a really nice dinner and lit the candles and did the challah and everything and and I felt like it was really something that was very special and the kids were really opening up to us and talking and being so funny and it wasn't just a normal eat and be done in 10 minutes and Reagan and her bestie Sienna were talking about a bar mitzvah that they had been to recently, and how they thought they'd heard there were boys sniffing drugs in the bathroom, and we were like, "What? Yeah, exactly. What?" I like nearly flew across the table. And I don't think it's true, by the way. You know how rumors start in junior high? Like, I think they're
like, were they sniffing or snorting?
Well, this is what I said. They were doing drugs in the bathroom in 7th grade. And she goes, no, they weren't. I don't think they were doing drugs. I think they were just sniffing drugs. I go, okay. Hold on. We gotta talk for a second. Okay. Sniffing drugs is a way of doing drugs. And they were like, what? And it was a whole conversation. And I said, yes. And she goes, I thought it was just pills. And I said, like a pill. And I go, no. Okay. I looked at Jason. I'm like, all right, we need to break this down for them. I'm like, okay, you can sniff drugs or snort them. You can shoot them in your body with a needle. You can smoke drugs. I'm like, you can do drugs any way you can, there's a lot of different ways to do drugs.
And there's multiple orifices. I'm just going to say.
Right. They were, shocked. Their mouths were on the ground. What? I thought they just were sniffing. And I was like, if anybody's ever asking, tells you to sniff drugs, don't ever, ever do it. So this is my public service announcement to all the parents out there. They might want to have a Shabbat dinner, or if you're not Jewish, just a Friday night dinner with the family, casual, sit down, ask your kids some questions, make a comfortable environment for them to come to you and tell you things. Because this is why I love food and coming around the table. And I think this is really, I would say this is an example of why sitting down with your kids for a meal is very important, because stuff comes up. And, we were able to tackle a very serious topic in a, I don't know if it was a lighthearted way, but we did, after I pulled my jaw up off the ground, I'm like, you did what? You heard what? But I actually do think it was just a rumor, but still, I think that we were able to get the point across very clearly. Yeah, I think Shabbat dinners are important. But these girls that are coming on, they had many Shabbat dinners. They are so funny. They really know how to tell a good story because they have their own podcast. So, and they're Mommy Arlene.
Mommy Arlene. So that's like my favorite thing about, one of the favorite things is that they're like, well, mommy and daddy, and they're from the South, and it just cracks me up. Mommy and daddy. And I think before, whomever kind of coined Mama Ashley, I always called, I would say mommy or mom, but I always say daddy. You don't say it as much, but I still am like daddy this or daddy that. I really, really felt a kindred spirit with these two. Totally. And it was really fun. And I want to do a happy hour with them again. We just had a blast.
Gosh, I know we should have them back on for just like a happy hour episode. That would be great. If you love this episode as much as we do, let us know. We'll invite these ladies back on. Send us a note, call into our hotline, and enjoy the show.
Hey, sis.
Hey, sis.
Today is going...
sis. Oh, shoot. Am I supposed to talk?
You can say
go
that.
Ahead. Start over.
No need.
Yeah. I love it.
I know they're waiting on us. Okay, go ahead. Start over.
I can see where that could be confusing in today's episode.
Okay. Yes, that is true. Well, this is why it's going to be a very funny and fun episode, Courtney, because we're interviewing two sisters who are pretty similar to us. There's a similar age difference.
We look so much alike too.
Yeah, we all. You mean the four of us or the two of you? The two of
yes,
us?
all four of us. We look so much alike.
We could be quadruplets.
We could. The quads.
Yeah.
Their new podcast we're launching.
Well, they love their mama just as much as we do. And they are also fellow sister podcasters, Alison Goldstein Leibowitz and Amanda. Sorry. Alison.
It's actually Lebovitz.
Lebowitz. Oh, okay.
Lebovitz.
Okay.
No, V.
Lebovitz. Okay,
perfect.
Glad you corrected that.
How come my friends that have the same last name say Leibowitz? Anyway,
they're wrong.
Yeah.
They're wrong. Yeah.
Alison Goldstein Lebowitz.
Lebowitz. Let the Jewish sister say it. Alison Goldstein Lebowitz.
And Amanda Goldstein Marks. That one's a little easier.
That's not how you pronounce Marks, though. You pronounce. I'm just joking. That is exactly.
Marks.
The K is silent.
Moz. Well, they're the co-hosts of the hilarious and award-winning podcast Sis Tell. And we're so lucky to have them on with us here today. So welcome to Hey Sis Eat This, Alison and Amanda.
Do I get to say it now?
Hey, now sis. You do.
Hey sis, yeah.
Hey.
Alison is the host of the PBS series, The A-List, and author of the book, Am I There Yet? She's a motivational speaker, and she runs a nonprofit organization called One Clip at a Time. And then Amanda not only performs stand-up comedy, but produces regional comedy shows and is also the host of the web series Mom Cam in the Minivan. And they both have 3 children. So with all that going on.
3 children each. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It would have been so much easier.
Not like you and me where we share our children.
Yes.
Yeah, we share my children.
Yeah, that works.
With all that going on, how in the hell did you start a podcast, and what is the motivation behind that of Sis Tell? Give our audience a little overview.
Well, I'd say that's the easiest part of our lives is just getting on the phone, getting on video, recording and talking. And that's how it started. We were on the phone one day and having our, we talk all the time. And we're like, we should record. I think Alison said we should record this and turn this into a podcast.
No, that's not what happened. I
said that. You
absolutely said it because I was not.
If you credit,
I was not into podcasting, like listening. Even you said this conversation is so funny, we should turn it into a podcast. And oh no, I did say that, and you said okay. Sorry,
I told you.
Told the story right. Yeah,
oh my
I did
God.
say it.
Alice, you're correcting me.
I know. I did say it, and you said okay, but I was kidding, and you said okay.
But then a week later, we had a website, a logo, a name, and the first episode done and recorded.
So, Alison, what's the age difference between you and Amanda? And I know there's a brother in there too. So, tell us a little bit about your brother.
Yeah, right. There is a brother. Who remembers the middle child? So I'm the oldest of 3. I'm 53. We have a brother, Stuart, who we call Bubba, who's 51. We also call him Jiminy Cricket because he is the moral compass to our family. He's the best. We all know that. And also he wants none of the spotlight and we crave all of it. So he's the funniest and we try to be. It's the dichotomy is just.
And he's probably Arlene, your mother's favorite as well, right?
Yeah, she can neither confirm nor deny that. But
right. How did he get the name? How did he get the nickname Bubba?
I don't know. Maybe just because we grew up in Alabama, and that was one of those things. You call him Ba. Stuart's 51, and then Amanda is 46. How old are you? 7 years younger. Yes. It's hard for me to do the math.
Yeah, Whitney and I are 6 years apart.
Yeah, and I'm honest about it. Stuart said this past weekend we were together Thanksgiving. He said Alison was always very concerned with her friends. And that's not untrue. I mean, I was. Yeah. I still do have amazing groups of friends, but in a selfish way, when I was 15, you were, 7, 8.
Right.
8.
Yeah, it's like almost a generation apart when they're that, and I was so mean to Whitney because I was so into my friends and my own world. And she was just this annoying little sister. And so I probably.
Were you ever maternal? Like, do you remember being like, oh, baby Whitney's born? And
I remember her being so cute at times. But then mostly I just wanted her out of my hair.
That makes, not that I want you not to be nice, but no.
Yeah.
And so that brings me some comfort. Not that I want you not to be maternal.
But we've made, like you said, we're making up for it by doing this podcast with them,
Did you commit to 18 years? Because that's what Alison committed. So I've got like 11 more years to go. 11
it gets longer every year.
Maybe you need to renegotiate the contract.
Now the podcast episodes are 5 minutes. So.
Oh God.
No, Amanda's sentimental. So I told her after I die, she'll have all of these hours of our conversations to listen to.
You know what? I think that's a great thing.
We love moms here, as we've discussed, and we want to hear all about your mom, who y'all call Mommy. We refer to our mom as Mama Ashley, and y'all have Mommy Arlene. So tell us about Mommy Arlene.
Wait, before we do, I just have to say, listening to y'all and listening to you impersonate your own mom, I know what she sounds like. I know what she sounds like, even if I never hear her, because your impersonation is exactly the same. You both do. It's spot on. And neither one of you have that thick Texas accent, but you do a beautiful mama accent.
Well, thank you. And that's kind of how the podcast started, because we talk like her all the time, and we just to each other. And now Courtney's kids will talk Texan. It's hilarious.
Yeah, full conversations in Mama Ashley accents. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's so refined. It does remind me because our maternal grandmother grew up in Montgomery and had that refined accent. It's the only accent I can do. And our parents, I think Mommy has an accent, but we
both have accents. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
you don't hear their accent?
I do, but not. I think it's more of an inflection. The way we imitate her feels very dramatic.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, no. When we imitate my mom, because really, my mom and I, we sound exactly alike. Like people,
really?
Like my mom used to answer the phone and it would be my friend and they'd be like, Amanda. And she'd be like, no, this is Arlene. Let me get, she's like, I could know all your business if I wanted to. But when I do her, it is like such like a caricature of her.
Sure.
Like she does not sound like that at all. She sounds like me.
Yeah. Well, we think we're doing a caricature of our mom, but then her friends are like, oh my God, that's spot on your mom. So, maybe she is a caricature of herself.
Right.
Where did Mama Arlene grow up?
Mommy grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, and my dad grew up in Birmingham. And they met because my mom was best friends with this, when they were little girls, named Lynn Weinstein. And they met through a Jewish youth group, and they did it's called USY, and they did USY together. And I mean, they stayed best friends, through life to this day. But in college, Lynn wanted to go down to University of Florida, where my mom was, to go visit her. And the only person she knew with a car was my dad, Milton, who was at University of Alabama, and her cousin. So she said, Milton, if you drive me down to Florida, I will scratch your back. He's very motivated. He's like a golden retriever. Like if a golden retriever turned into a person, it would be our dad. Like he's like so adorable.
Probably reincarnated from a golden retriever.
Yeah,
I believe in those things. Yeah.
So he's like, I'll take your scratches, sure. But he would seriously like do anything for anyone, even if his back wasn't being scratched, And I think my mom was dating someone at the time, but
she was pinned.
She was pinned.
Right. Which was like a step before engagement.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's like a sorority thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know how soon after that they started dating, but I can tell you that they dated for 6 months, got engaged, and then 6 months later they got married. So it was quick.
Yeah.
Fast. Yeah.
And they're still together.
They are. How many years, Allie? Do you know?
105. I don't know. They got married when they were 21.
Yeah.
So Daddy just turned 79.
79.
So 58, 57.
Yeah.
Close to 60.
Yeah. Our parents got married at 20 and 21, and they met in junior high. And then, our dad came out of the closet at 56 years old, 33 years after being married. And now he's remarried and she's remarried, and we're like one big modern family. So
that's amazing.
That's fun.
It is.
It's fun. It is.
I'm glad it could be fun.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't always, but
not always. And there,
you got there. You got to fun the blended family where everyone's getting along and everyone's happy.
I got to go back there. So wait, were either one of you shocked, or did you feel like you knew deep down?
I don't think I did.
It all made sense. I didn't know because I didn't really spend that much time thinking about it. While they were married, we knew they didn't love each other. There wasn't a lot of romance. They weren't like the lovey-dovey couple. And I think once he came out, it made so much sense. And I was like, and so
you don't think about your parents' sexuality.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just didn't. That did not feel good. Yeah. Right? But I just love how there's this now like a reconciliation and celebration of these new family units. But did you have to sort of mourn the life that was before you could move on to the life that is?
For sure. I mean, I think it took us a year. I think we were more helping our mother who was mourning. So it was really hard on her and we were helping her through it. And I think it was like, wow, it's just so strange. But then also Whitney and I were so compassionate and accepting and wanted to be there for our dad who, my God, had to hold this inside his whole life because it wasn't an option for him growing up in Texas in the 60s to even live his truth. And he denied it and he pushed it down because he, it just wasn't a thing he thought was even an option in his life. But I think we very quickly accepted him. Yeah. And we embraced our mom. And it's taken a lot of time for them to kind of be friendly, but they are friendly now. And we do get together as families. And they've both been like extremely important and an integral part of this podcast happening. And so it's kind of brought them together. I know they text each other from time to time, oh, that was a funny episode, or you were good on this episode, and da-da-da. So I think it's even the podcast is continuing to heal that relationship.
Well, I just want to say, I mean, you are obviously a gift to your parents, but what a gift the two of you are in this story is to people listening who feel isolated in their own trauma or whatever that looks like, or what has become now more conventional, but unconventional in terms of what the family unit used to be equated with. And to know that things work out. Yeah. And love is love, and you can move on. And when things don't happen the way we all think it doesn't mean it's the end. It's just like a new beginning.
Actually,
and you have to recalibrate.
Opportunities come up from it. I don't think our story would be as funny or we would have had as much to talk about had that not happened. And now we enjoy sharing it because other people, I do find, I think people realize, yes, you can move on from these things. You can find peace. You can find love. And, yeah.
I think we're proud. I mean, I'm proud of our dad and what he had gone through. And I'm proud of our mom for coming out of it and finding her career. And I think I never thought that after our parents got divorced, our family unit was broken. And I thought, oh gosh, well, I guess, the husband I'd marry is going to have a family unit intact. And that's going to be kind of my new family. And that's so the opposite. Like our modern family is so loved and welcoming.
And you're so interesting. You've got such an interesting story, right?
Like, well, we think you guys do too. And I'll bring it back to the moms because, the reason we started this podcast is really to we were so impressed that our mom at 55 years old picked herself up by the bootstraps, had been a stay-at-home mom, unlike Arlene, who is a full-time working mom, and she didn't know what to do. So she started cooking and she started a catering company, and she still to this day caters a little bit, but it's inspired Whitney and I to cook and entertain and really develop this love and passion for food and entertaining people through food. And so I do want to bring it back to your mom and tell us, she was a fashion director. She had a huge career, and tell us a little bit about that.
She actually started off as a school teacher.
Okay.
And then when she got pregnant with Alison, then she took a break from working and didn't.
She kind of took a break during working. She used to tell the story. She was so tired pregnant with me that she'd fall asleep on the desk and the kids thought she was on drugs. So, I mean, the late 60s, early 70s.
She wore mini skirts.
Mommy, Miss Arlene's on Quaaludes again.
Exactly. Just go play the Beatles, honey. It'll be fine.
I think when I was 5 is when she started working again. And she started off as, and correct me if I'm wrong, Allie, but she started off as a sales associate at a regional department store in Birmingham called Parisian. And she started to see this need to kind of bring people together and try and get more people to come into the store during like lunch hours or stuff like that. So she created an event. Maybe what was it like? It was called like, she's very creative. It was, I want to say Ladies Who Lunch, but it was something different. It was like fast fashion, or I don't know. It's she brought in women.
It was like the version of a lunch and learn where you can do everything. You can come and learn about fashion. You can have your lunch. You can pick out something to wear, and then you can get back to work. And that's what the working woman really needed. They needed something that was that they could be, they could get something accomplished, but also get their lunch, eaten, which it was practical, right? Entertaining and practical.
So from there, she started planning events for the, I don't know if it probably started off just that location. Then it turned into she was the events coordinator for the entire department store and became director of special events. And then she started seeing the need to also kind of elevate their fashion department. And she started trend forecasting. She started following the trends, reporting back on them. She got a budget to go to, New York and to Europe. And I mean, this was over years of time, but none of this stuff existed.
Yeah.
They didn't have any of these positions. They didn't even think about it. She created this path. She really, I think, transformed this department store to be more fashion forward in a region that didn't have access to fashion trends.
Sure. Pioneer.
Yeah.
So,
and she's even internally where there would be, limitations on what they could wear in the office place, because back then, women had to wear pantyhose. And finally, she went to the president and said, the right now open-toed shoes are what's hot, and it does not look good when a woman is wearing pantyhose with open-toed shoes. So we need that off of the mandate. And the president went, okay, next week. It says that we can't wear denim. Well, everything is denim. They're showing denim in Paris and London. This is probably in the 80s. So the fact that women can't wear denim, that is counterintuitive to what the fashion direction is. You need to get that off that. And he went, okay. So slowly but surely, she sort of like took apart any of the constraints on their wardrobes internally so that they could really be the ambassadors for what was trending in the stores and out, in the country in Europe. And she jokes, even to this day, she will be out shopping. And she retired, probably about 8 years ago officially. But and someone go, Arlene, can you help me? Right? Can you pick out this outfit, or what should I wear? I'm going to this. And even me, like I say, I can't even pick out what shoes to wear with, what pants without FaceTiming her and going, does this look good? How about this? Sending her 10 pictures.
But at the same time, fashion is not her life, right? That's just something she did. She was passionate about it, but Mommy was, equal parts a working mom and equal parts very domestic, and was always cooking and baking. And she's known for her making this really delicious chocolate chip banana bread that her grandma name is Nini. So my Oscar, my youngest, when he was 4, he started calling it Banini bread. And we felt so ridiculous that none of us had come up with that. And it took Oscar. We're like, why don't we come up with that? We're clever. So so she makes Banini bread, but she's always like, we always had dinner together as a family. And on Friday nights, on Shabbat, we also, we were always together. My dad's parents lived about 10 minutes from us, that they were coming over for dinner, or we'd have family friends or whatever, but we were always especially together on Friday nights.
So she cooked all the meals primarily. And I know, listening to your podcast, your dad was the cleaner to do the dishes.
He's a little type A too. And one time I was like, I don't know if it was college or high school, but I would remember being alone with my parents at the kitchen table, and we were eating breakfast. And he comes and he snatches a knife out of my hand and puts it in the dishwasher. And I'm like, what? And she's like, Milton, we're still eating. He's like, well, I have to wash the dishes. She goes, you can wait.
Well, and for dinner time, he knew that once everything was cleared off, he got to have his dessert. And dessert was pudding pops. And
pudding pops?
That's
such a Southern thing.
So it was those Jell-O pudding pops.
Yeah.
It was like a popsicle. Yeah. And so we knew Daddy needed his pudding pop so he could go sit on the couch and watch TV. And it was the same thing. Like, you had to basically physically protect everything around you that you wanted to stay at the table. Because once he was done, everything left: the salt, the pepper, the ketchup, your fork, your water glass, your plate, everything. You had to, whatever you weren't touching was fair game for him to remove. And so
I would also like to say he also liked just chocolate pudding, like Jell-O chocolate pudding. And he would put, we would have, my mom would also make dessert for us, but it was very 80s. Everything was low calorie, light, had aspartame in it. I think I have
and a parfait glass.
Yeah. Right. And I have Crystal Light pumping through my veins still to this day. But she'd put everything. She'd do like Jell-O, like regular Jell-O or pudding and parfait glasses with like fat-free Cool Whip on it. Mm-hmm. But my dad would make, he would make chocolate pudding in like this big saucepan, and he'd put the pudding in parfait glasses also. But then he would leave like 2 inches of pudding in the saucepan, and he'd go sit on the couch and tuck a napkin into sit on the couch with like a wooden spoon, and he's like
eat it right out of
he's like a 10-year-old with food.
My God.
His eating habits to this day are still, it drives my mom crazy that he just likes meat and potatoes.
He eats everything. He jokes that he was grocery shopping. We were far out of the house at this point, and he's like buying bagels and cream cheese and peanut butter and ice cream and probably
fun-sized chocolate bars,
right? Like all this stuff. And
corned beef hash, canned corned beef hash.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Disgusting.
So gross.
And the woman looked at him and assumed he was divorced. And said, "Oh, do you have the kids this weekend?" And he went, "What?" It went over his head. He goes, "No, this is for me." She went, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, because Arlene kept him on a strict diet. What were some of her standout dishes?
So chicken divan was her go-to.
Oh yeah,
every week.
I just made that.
Whitney just made it
at Courtney's house.
So good.
It's only like 1,000 calories per bite and probably, 500 grams of fat. I mean, it's so delicious. What couldn't be bad? Like mayonnaise, cream of soup, maybe cheese. Sour cream, cheese, all of that.
Yeah.
So she made that, and then she made Chinese pepper steak. And that was also like a very
It was like a casserole also.
Yes. Like everything had rice on the side.
So much cornstarch in it. It was like, it had that like.
What was in it?
I don't know. Like
probably some weird cut of meat.
Yeah, like
a
cheap,
like strips.
A cheap. Yeah. It almost looks like
that was Asian night. That would be like Asian night.
No, we wouldn't dare insult the Asian community by calling it Asian night.
Right.
But it was like
rice.
Right. I mean, rice, and it was called Chinese pepper steak, but there was nothing pepper steak or Chinese about it. It was just brown.
I would say Mommy is better at baking than cooking.
Okay.
Right. And she would make dinner. Oftentimes we would make dinner. I remember one time she called me and gave me all these directions I was like probably 11 or 12. And we were having family over for Shabbat. And she gave me all these directions, preheat the oven and do this and take out the chicken and and then the dinner came and everyone's sitting at the table enjoying. And someone's like, "Arlene, this is a delicious meal." And she's God. She said, "Amanda cooked it all." And I did. I was like, "I did." And I had, she had just given me all the directions over the phone. And I didn't realize that I was actually cooking.
That's amazing.
That is.
But she is she starts like we're just together for Thanksgiving, and it's and we piled like 24 people in a house, and including me and Alison and Stuart and our spouses and our kids, but my mom's siblings and their kids, and so it's our favorite time of the year. But Mommy starts prepping for it like a month or two before, right? Yeah, she starts cooking
now for next year, right?
And that came from our grandmother, like her mom, Alice, Mimi, who we called Mimi Alice, and she started cooking. She would make all these a lot of Sephardic goodies. So her parents, our great grandparents, were from Izmir, Turkey, and they were refugees and immigrated to Montgomery in like 1910, 1915.
Wow.
So. But that's a huge part of what we eat. Alison and I, when Mimi, and we used to go to Montgomery all the time for Thanksgiving, and Mimi would have this spread. Alison, because it turned into like Black Friday and everyone trying to get the Cabbage Patch in the 1980s.
Right, sure.
the last flat screen or whatever. But that's what it would turn into with all these Sephardic goodies. We grab them. And so Allison was like, I'm organizing it. She's the oldest of all the cousins. So then it became, everything got divided up. But when, Mimi passed on, Mommy wasn't really making those Sephardic goodies. So Allison and I took over making that stuff, which Allison does a bulk of it. I do one thing and it takes me 3 days to make it.
So to back up, so the Sephardic tradition, a lot of it is very similar to Greek, to Italian, to all this. Like everybody has some sort of empanada or, that shaped dough filled with something very simple, a potato, a cheese, a rice, something, maybe meat if you're lucky. And then these desserts, and nothing is necessarily complicated, but it takes forever.
So long.
Yeah,
it is a true
the labor of love.
It is a labor of love. And we did a family history and cookbook of my grandmother's family.
Oh, wow.
And it was really to preserve not only the story and the photos, but also the recipes. And the problem is nobody could edit her recipes. So we just put them in the book. And now that she's gone, people call me and say, I made this, it didn't turn out right. I'm like, that's because it says 4 to 6 eggs. 5 to 7 cups of flour, right?
My brother at one point, Melissa, our sister-in-love, is we call her our sister-in-law. She wanted us to make all these things, which means the world to us, that she loved Mimi and she loved all the goodies and she wants to make them too. And so she and Stuart at one point, when Mimi was still alive, they were in her kitchen and my brother was recording it. So I asked him to dig up this video. Mimi was no longer alive and I was trying to perfect this dough, and I got to see her like roll out the dough and see how thin she got it. She had the same color countertops as I do. And so now I'm like, oh, is this as translucent? Can I see my countertops through it?
Wow.
And so that it was just, neat.
That's awesome.
That video.
Yeah. I've done several latke bars. My husband has a deep fryer. So one Christmas, he's like, I want a deep fryer. And I'm like, what about an air fryer? He's like, it's not the same. I'm like, fine. So got him a deep fryer, and it's perfect because it doesn't smell up the house. And I just go out in the backyard and I fry all the latkes up and we're good to go. Then I do like a whole bar with smoked salmon, and I make all these different sour creams and creme fraiches, a chipotle, a horseradish.
Yum.
And then
that sounds awesome.
I do caviar.
Yeah.
Yes, I was about to ask.
So as we mentioned, y'all both have 3 kids each. Do you cook for your large families? I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, we have dinner. Well, my 3 boys are out of the house now, so
lucky
now I'm cooking
you.
for 2. Yeah. But yeah, we had dinner. We mirrored really what I had growing up and my husband had growing up. My husband, it's funny, I joke, when he was growing up, they had the same meal every week on the same night. So like Monday was meatloaf. Tuesday was liver, Wednesday was lasagna, or Friday was fried chicken. I mean, I kind of remember the cadence, and he's really fine eating the same food every week.
Right.
And so I'm a creature of habit, but I really like the idea of we can all, no matter what we're doing, we can gather, we can sit down at the dinner table, have a meal. So I'm the cooker. My husband's the cleaner, very similar to my family. We always do Shabbat dinner, and sometimes it's small and intimate. But when the boys were younger and they wanted to go out to football games and such, I said, well, you have to stay home for Friday night dinner, which was the rule in my house and for me and Amanda and Stuart growing up. And they pushed back, and I said, but that doesn't mean you can't invite people. So they attended pretty much not all Christian, but a Christian all boys school, which had some boys of different faiths, but the majority of them really didn't have a lot of Jewish friends, if any. So it was actually a true blessing for us. I don't use that word lightly, especially in the South, but to be able to invite all of their friends over for Friday night dinner, and their school's called Macaulay. So we called it Macaulay Shabbat. So from the time oldest was in 9th grade until the last one left, we would have 14 boys and women around the table, and we would talk about the highlights of our week. And it wasn't a rushed event. They would be there for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Nice. And I always make homemade challah, and it was always a steak, a potato, and a vegetable to get them to come.
Yeah.
And so it really was about building community and building this sense of joy with all of us and celebrating each other. And also, I think it was important for us growing up in the South, and in Chattanooga, there's only 1,500 Jewish people, right, out of a population of 300,000 or more. And that was, I think, an important foundation for a lot of their friends, just to know what our tradition was like. And when they went on to school or wherever they go now, to know that that was a joyful time and to have that as a reference point.
Beautiful. You bring everybody together around food. That's what we love.
That's what y'all do. Just trying to mirror that, right? Food is it's such a great unifying force. It really is.
So Mommy Arlene was working full time. So when y'all had your school days, was she running carpool in the morning before she went to work? Was she the pickup woman? What did those school days kind of look like, Amanda?
So I think my school days and Allison's were very different because we were never at school at the same time, ever.
Right.
We've never shared a building. And all three of us went to this really teeny tiny Jewish day school. And it was about 15 minutes from the house or something. And I don't know why we would do carpool, I guess, but it was such it felt like carpool took 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was 2 hours. Carpool
was not efficient.
Yeah,
right.
It was not efficient. And we picked up everyone within probably a mile and a half from us. And then, but Mommy did mornings. And then there's certain people she would take turns with. But I think my most memorable Arlene moment carpooling was when it was cold outside and we had this really old Oldsmobile station wagon, with
we had one
paneling,
too.
Like the blue and brown. Our parents at one point let us start putting bumper stickers on the back of it. We didn't stop. There were literally 50 bumper stickers on the back of that car, so everyone knew it was the Goldsteins. So, but one time we went up someone's driveway. Mommy honks the horn and for them to come out, and the horn didn't stop honking. I don't know if it was because it was so cold out. So it just started honking and didn't stop. Someone came out with a little butter knife. She tried to lift it up. So we had to drive all the way through the next 2 more houses to go pick carpool, and all the way to the Jewish day school with the horn honking.
God. Like a continual beep like that?
Continual beep.
Were people flicking you off, other drivers?
No, because it's the South, so people are just
polite. Yeah,
well, bless their heart. Bless their heart. Yeah.
Well, something must be wrong with that horn, or she wouldn't be honking like that.
That's not right.
Oh,
that is not right. Did you see that Oldsmobile with the bumper? It's the Goldsteins. It's okay. Hey, Arlene, love your eyeshadow.
Is your horn stuck, Arlene?
It happens.
And I love that she was in her heels and her total fashionista driving carpool, and yeah.
Then she drove a Suburban, and her boss he could never make that connection between her getting out of the car. And you have to also picture she's had the same look for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Gorgeous black hair that she pulls back into a bun or a ponytail, and red lipstick with all super black chic attire. You can tell we're still in the all black. And so she's very chic. And then all of a sudden she'd climb out of the Suburban into the parking lot, and her boss would go, I just don't even understand what to do with it. One time she picked up our carpool. There was very few and far between snowstorms in Birmingham, and it started snowing, and she was the first to get to school, and she picked up me and probably Stuart, and Amanda was too young, but a few of the other kids. And because we live in such a hilly area, we made it about maybe 3/4 of the way home. So we were a couple miles from home, and the car wouldn't go anymore. So she abandoned the station wagon in the middle of this hill. And we went to the nearest house, and because it's the South, she sweet talked us in there. She and these 5 or 6 kids, and we walked in, and the woman was so sweet. She gave us mittens and hats and hot chocolate, and then my mom just said, "Okay, we're going to walk it. We're going to walk home." And we went, okay.
Wow.
It sounded like an adventure. So we started walking home, and we've got our backpacks and this, and I don't even know. I don't know how we made it to this day, but we were about halfway walking home, and this car's slowly going by, and it's coming down. And it was our across the street neighbor. And my mom was so happy to see this woman. And she flagged her down and said, "Oh my goodness, I am so happy to see you. And, can you fit some of these kids in your car and bring them to my house?" And she goes, "Well, I have just been to the mall, and I have all of these breakables in my car, so I don't think so." And she drove off. And I will tell you something. Rarely, if ever, do we see either of our parents mean, nasty, or not like someone. They like everybody and everybody likes them. I mean, that's really sort of this Pollyanna, Mary Poppins view of the world, but it's true. My mother was so mad, and I still have like that image of her so mad that even the next day. She still tells the story.
She
still tells the story too. Right? She's still mad at this woman, and that woman has since moved. But the woman came out to her front porch across the street. My mom was on our front porch watching us play in the snow, and the woman said, "Well, Arlene, you must just think I am the biggest witch." And my mother said, "Yes, I do." And she walked away. And to this day, she just, right, for all of us, I think the collective 4 sisters on this, we grew up with parents who just couldn't imagine not doing whatever they could for another person. Right. And so that sentiment, when it wasn't related back and it wasn't reciprocated, good job. Yeah, good word. It was so foreign to her. Right. It's just, just, especially in the South, growing up in Texas or in Alabama, there is an assumed, just, neighborly way about it that you hope everybody is. And when that doesn't happen, it is a trauma. It's a shock.
Well, and good for her. And good for her for letting her know, because that's not okay. The way that woman, the way that witch treated y'all. Those poor kids in the snow.
Seriously.
Was she involved in your dating life? Like choosing men? Was she a matchmaker of sorts?
So first we have to backtrack and say, did we have a dating life?
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Good question.
Right. Yeah. Did we have a dating life?
I would say she did. She gave us advice when it was warranted, when we were older and actually had dates. And she likes matchmaking to this day.
Oh, yes.
She is a little bit obsessive about making matches. In fact, I didn't tell Amanda this. I just threw her a bone because she wants to match people who don't necessarily ask to be matched. But I have a friend's granddaughter who actually did come to me saying, "I'm ready. I know you know a lot of people." And I'm like, I'm going to throw you to my sister and my mom, because especially my mom. So I just threw her whole, bio and her wish list and her deal breakers. So she'll be on that for a while.
She's never been successful at it.
Oh my God. She's like the mom on The Marvelous Miss Maisel. She wants to really be a matchmaker. That's so cute.
I have, material I do on stage about this, about how she is that Jewish mom that loves to set up Jews with other Jews and they can have nothing in common, right?
Right. Just except being Jewish. Yeah.
Right. They go to the same synagogue, right? But she's 27, he's 92, she's a lesbian, he is not. Right. But they're both go to Temple Beth Or, so she's like,
but it can happen.
You never know.
You never know.
Connection. You never know.
I will say, when I started dating Alan, my husband, the first thing my mom said is, first we weren't dating. He just called me when I moved to Atlanta from Chicago, and he was living in South Carolina. And I happened to mention that he had called me to maybe get together if he was in town. And my mom said, "Alan Lebovitz. Well, I know his mother. His mom is best friends with our cousin Pris, and they used to come to Parisian to come to fashion shows. And she's a lovely woman," and going on. Okay. So 2 days later, "Did you call Alan Lebovitz back?" I said, "No, I just moved from Chicago. I was living with my uncle, her brother. I was trying to find a job. I did, I left my whole life. I was not interested in any more dating. I had so many blind dates in Chicago. I was done." And the next week, again, like the third time, how's it going? Not have you found a job or made friends? "Did you call Alan Lebovitz back?" I go, "No." She goes, "Well, I know his mother and she's precious." And I finally said to her, true story, "What do you want me to do? Marry this guy because you happen to like his mother?" And she said, "That would be lovely." And so we dated, same as my parents. We dated for 6 months, got engaged, and got married 6 months later.
Oh my God.
In a sense, she did. She facilitated that relationship.
I think Arlene is responsible for you and Alan.
It was a mitzvah.
It's a
mitzvah for sure.
Yeah.
That's adorable. We all grew up in the South, and there's so many sayings out there that our mama says. Whether it's the end of a conversation and she says, "That's my story and I'm sticking to it." Mm-hmm. So does Mommy Arlene have any sayings that she likes to say to y'all, Alison?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of them is, and true to this, we've been very sweet this podcast, but she always says, "I live to be the butt of your jokes. You'd have no stories without me, but I just live to be the butt of your jokes." And then our other one, which sort of
hold on.
Oh, sorry.
She said,
I'm going to take it.
She recently said that, and she said, "I'm just going to stop talking."
Oh yeah, I've gotten that threat.
And
true.
I said, and I go, well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you ever get angry phone calls from her after the podcast when you've talked about her and she's, I did not say that?
There's
Always.
Yeah. But she's always so positive also and loves everything we do. You know, like it's more like silly angry than real anger.
Right.
Yeah. She does a lot of like that. Well, to be clear, this is what happened. It's like she wants to set the record straight.
Right.
But sometimes her version of events is not necessarily our version of events.
Right.
So I honor that. I honor that her truth is different from the truth.
Yeah. Oh, Mama Ashley calls into our hotline with her version.
Yeah. She doesn't call us.
Straight. Yeah.
She'll just call in the hotline to set the story straight.
That's hysterical.
That's funny.
She is.
Yes.
But Mommy also says, I may not be good, but I'm quick.
Ooh.
Which I like that, right? It's also, I always say, don't let perfect be the enemy of great. And I think that's her version of that, which is she's going to get it done and she's going to get it done fast. And it may not look like perfect. It usually does. I mean, she can literally, she's like the home version of MacGyver. She can figure out anything with a roll of saran wrap and, a couple candles and make a beautiful spread. Yeah. Yeah.
She sounds really awesome.
But speaking of carpool earlier, she has the ability of putting on a full face of makeup while driving carpool.
That is talent.
She can do
that. Is talent.
She can get a lot done at a stoplight.
Like foundation and everything.
She doesn't.
Not the foundation, no, but like mascara, which I think is even harder.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
God, what if you get rear-ended? I mean, you can lose an eyeball. You know
exactly. Never once blinded herself. It's amazing.
Yeah. She has a lot of grace. It sounds
talent.
Like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are her other Arleneisms? I can't remember.
I feel like she says like, "Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story." Like she said that before, but
we said a lot of them. She quotes so many people that we started quoting her, and then she'd be like, "Tell her about
Oh yes, please."
I was telling everyone.
Yeah,
I was telling everyone that I was like, my mom always says that people tend to over accessorize. So put on whatever jewelry you want to wear, and then you take off one piece. And I told her that. I was telling everyone. She said that. She goes, I didn't say that. Coco Chanel said it.
Same difference.
Like, well, yeah, right. Coco Chanel.
One of her best pieces of dating advice, which I've also translated to really anything I do, is she once said, relationships are 50-50. I said, I know. She goes, no, not what you think. She said, they're 50% how you feel about someone and 50% how they make you feel about yourself. And I've always tried to, well, not just when I was dating, but, like anything, like when you engage with a new business or a business partner, when you think about volunteer work, when you think about who you're going to be friends with, right? Like that 50-50 relationship is so critical, because a lot of times when you're feeling incomplete, it's because that person is not making you feel good about yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think once I realized that and how that plays a part in all of mine, relationships, not just romantic, it's really easy to sort of cut out the toxicity in your life. Not that I have or had a lot of it, but just to be picky about who your friends are and who you want to give your time to and your lifeblood to, because it makes it more important and sacred. And it's easy to gauge, right? Do I feel good about myself when I'm with them? Nope. Bye.
Well, she's wise. Felicia. She's definitely a wise woman. She cooks. She's stylish. She gives great advice. I mean, I've loved getting to know
Banini bread.
Yes. I've loved getting to know this woman. So we'll wrap it up with our little rapid fire questions.
Yes.
Sounds like a game show.
I've been nervous about this. I know. Rapid fire. This is the nervous part of the game show. Okay.
Well, we'll start with Amanda, because
I was like Family Feud. Does she have to take off her earphones and we
No. Well, I think we've already answered this, so it's a soft one, Allison, but who is her favorite?
Oh, of the family?
Yeah.
Maybe his sister.
I would say she doesn't have a favorite.
She really doesn't have a favorite.
She doesn't. Yeah.
We thought for sure it'd be Bubba.
Well, her favorite son, which is an easy
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, but I think she has really specific relationships with each of us, but all equal.
and
lovely.
she treats every grandchild like they are the first.
Oh,
yeah.
Except for Arthur, who really is the first, and he is like.
And I'm sure he tells
so he
number
gets
one,
that.
number one. Yeah.
Amanda, what's Mommy Arlene's favorite cocktail?
Margaritas.
Yeah.
Oh, Mama Ashley's too.
Yeah. Our mom too.
A skinny margarita. She loves skinny.
Of course.
She kept on trying during the entire Thanksgiving. Every second, can I make you a margarita?
She's like asking the little kids.
Yes, she wants to make everyone margaritas.
We're watching a movie. I see her passing her margarita on to some of our cousins who are like 15. I'm like, no, Mommy, it's got tequila in it. Well, just a little sip. It's fine.
Yeah, just
it'll be fine. And she's like, don't tell Mommy. Don't tell your mommy.
She just wants everybody to have a good time. I think it's very generous.
To be as happy as she is.
She used to, when I was 14, I remember sitting at the kitchen table with her, and she's drinking Zinfandel out of a juice glass, and it must have been like pink Zinfandel or something. And she goes, "Do you want a sip? It tastes just like Kool-Aid."
Oh my god! And at what age is this?
I was 14, but. Like Shabbat dinner, we were drinking Manischewitz.
Yeah, by the way, at 14, we were sneaking the Zinfandel.
I was already breaking into Mama's Kendall Jackson Shardy. Let's be honest.
Totally.
Okay. Alison, who calls Mommy the most?
Oh, gosh. How much do you talk to her? I don't know.
I feel like she stalks us. It's more, she's like, I think that it's equal. Right. With the amount of times we talk to her, and it depends on the week, but like I could text her and she will not see that text for a week or ever, but she will call me. And if I don't answer, she will call me 4 times, and then she will call Aaron, and then my husband, and then she will email me, and then she'll get I don't know if she thinks we're avoiding her. Sometimes she'll get my dad to call, and then I'm like, "What, is everything okay?" And I was just worried because you weren't answering. I'm like, "I'm in the bathroom."
I think we would be remiss without mentioning this. She is one of the best communicators in the world, because not only does she call all of us and all the grandkids and her best friends and her sister and brother and the cousins all the time, but she is renowned for being the Hallmark queen. So if you get on her birthday card or anniversary list, she sends a birthday card or an anniversary card to everyone in her book every week. And she sends my dad out with a list.
Book.
Like, I need 2 birthdays. I need a 70th birthday. I need an anniversary. I need this. And then they sign it and they all mail it. My dad is part of like this whole process too. And it's amazing. Like I have like some of my best friends, Amanda's best friends growing up, and others like, your mom was the first card I got, or the only card I got. Or our friend Tripp said, don't tell my mom, but your parents called me before they did on my birthday. So they are incredibly thoughtful. And the fact, I mean, I'm lucky if I remember, like our dad's birthday was yesterday. And I was like texting everybody, call Pop, make sure you call Papa. And I had to remind myself, but they are on it.
Yeah, I can barely get a text message out, let alone a birthday card and a call.
I just rely on Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Whitney texts me because I'm totally ADHD. Remember, it's mom's birthday or whatever, So remember, it's your child's birthday.
Right. Remember, it's your birthday. Yeah.
Amanda, what is mommy's favorite curse word?
But I would just say it's fuck. I would say that. That is the first time I remember her cursing. She like hit her finger on something or hurt herself, and she dropped an F-bomb.
I think it's the SH word. I don't curse on air, but
right.
If I had to guess, I think that one. Or
I wish we could get her to curse on air, Whitney.
I know.
Next one.
Yeah,
we're gonna trick you, Alison.
But she, growing up, we weren't allowed to curse. It wasn't frowned upon so much, but we were not allowed to say "shut up." That was considered.
We weren't either.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a good one.
Or hate and shut up. Those were really bad words. I think she rather would have heard us say
the F word.
Yeah.
Alison, what was your last text message with Mommy?
Oh, that was
that's good. Oh God, can you say it?
Well, that was the one I literally just.
I hope it has a curse word in it.
I said,
Alison, when are you going to call me?
No, here it is. If you want a real challenge, Helen asked me to help set up her granddaughter, Madeline. And she actually wants to be set up. Here is what she wrote for her wish list. keep this confidential, so I won't read all that. And I said, she needs a special soul to match her uniqueness. And also, by the way, she's the one who went to Israel with us in 2006. And to Amanda's point, I have not heard back. This is like the best. My mom's waiting for this matchmaking challenge, and she may read her text message next week. So
she's so bad at texting. God. It's really
we can talk.
Madeline will have a baby before my mom reads that text message. So yeah,
Amanda, what was yours?
She said, "Thank you for handling Kroger food orders. Want to share cost."
That's funny.
The good old Kroger
together. Yeah.
Oh well, our last question is, we'll start with Alison. What's one thing you would like Mommy Arlene to take away from hearing this podcast today?
Well,
I don't know why that's funny.
Well, she may live to be the butt of our jokes, but she really is the jewel in our crown, because she is really, she and my dad, but are the foundation upon which we have built our lives. So they're example of kindness and justice, of love, of inclusivity, of community, and of course, as we all discuss, of building life around a table filled with food and conversation and important, sometimes even uncomfortable discussions, is really at the heart of what we cherish most. And I think all three of us, Stuart, Amanda, and I also, you can tell how we've in many, many ways mirrored our life based on their example. And so I hope she knows that as much as we make fun of her out of love and adoration, and it's that adoration that really has carried us through.
So well said. Amanda?
Oh my God, you can't make me answer that after that answer.
I know.
I was laughing because I was just thinking that we mostly made it through the podcast without making fun of her.
Yeah, you made her shine. She came off as a real gem.
She is. Yeah, we are very lucky. We are very lucky. Both of our parents are incredible. So we have a fantastic family. So
that's really sweet. Well, ladies, this has been so wonderful. And you both are, I know where you got your great communication skills from, Arlene, because you're wonderful communicators. Your podcast is phenomenal. It's so funny. I love that it's short. Ours is like double this, ours is too long.
Well, we have interviews too.
Yes. And it's really sweet and fun. And I hope everyone of our listeners goes and checks it out and listens to it. And I hope that we can talk again and come visit you.
Can we do this every week?
Yeah, you
love that. Yeah, I will say your podcast is so authentic, and you bring in so many different elements and such a professional style that we have yet to achieve. But we just wish both of you like the best of luck and continued just laughter and love and food and community. And I think as avid listeners and fans of you as well, we're thrilled that we could make this little shidduch together. Look at us.
Yes, thank
Speaking
you
of matchmaking.
so much.
Your podcast is Sis and Tell. And your website is sisandtell.com. And is that the same Instagram handle too, at Sis and Tell?
Yes, everything is Sis and Tell.
Okay. And do you have anything else to promote? Any upcoming stand-up comedy shows or events that y'all like to put out there?
I always have a show going on. So you can also follow me at Mall of Amanda. And I post my shows on there. And that's on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
Great.
Allison, anything on your end?
No, just please go watch Amanda perform and laugh, because it takes months and years off of this this obligation that I have to
please
work
pay attention
out.
to me.
Yeah,
please pay
off
attention
of my
to
years
me.
of servitude. So please pay attention to her.
So good.
All right. Let's end it like we always do. Courtney, I love you. I love your show.
I love you. I love your show.
I love these sister shows too.
Love these sister shows. Love you, girls. Thank you so much.